Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. Quite a lot to discuss about, but this Bernardo Silva news coming, Bernardo Silva, it's being reported by Gerard Romero. There were rumors yesterday that Bernardo Silva was there house hunting in Barcelona, and today Romero is reporting that City have agreed a fee for Bernardo Silva with Barca in the range of 55 to 60 million euros. Well, it really seems impossible to believe in. I mean, we have valued Bernardo Silva at around 80 million euros, right? 80-85 million euros. And suddenly the report is stating that City are ready to sell him for such a low fee. Well, that is a fee that is much lower than what we sold Sterling for, what we sold Gabriel Jesus for. So it's quite hard to believe whatever Gerard Romero says these days, because he is. I don't know if he's always been like that, but he is somewhat, especially in this transfer window. Gerard Romero has become somewhat like a mouthpiece for Barcelona. He is. It seems that his job is not just journalism. His job is, turning the minds of the players towards Barca, spreading almost a few false acquisitions and putting pressure on the players to have them join Barca and things like that. So very hard to believe. I mean, if it is actually true, I do not know what we do so late in the season, so late in the transfer window. See, City have faced many things in the past, like absence of a left back and all of those issues. I mean, centre backs injured, all of those issues. But I will have to say that this could be an even bigger blow, just because it's so late in the transfer window. I would not have minded if Bernardo Silva, for example, left uh, a month ago before pre-season. I mean things like that. Then Pep would have had a chance to regroup. Maybe if not buy another player, maybe Pep might not have sent James McAtee on loan, for example. So there would actually have been things that Pep Guardiola could have done if. I mean, if we knew that Bernardo Silva was going much early on, so I don't know how we deal with this actually. Coming to other piece of news, which is the title of this video today, City could sign Marco Verratti in a three-way deal. This is actually very interesting for me. I don't know. Today, a lot of news are. It seems like lot of news are coming from. They're just dropping on you like a bombshell, especially after that great victory against West Ham, for example. So I don't know where this news are coming from, but uh, De Jong to PSG. I mean, this report says De Jong to PSG, Verratti to City, and Bernardo Silva to Barcelona. This could be the three-way domino of transfers that can happen. I mean, this report is not from Gerard Romero. I can be sure of that, but this actually makes a bit of sense because De Jong. I mean, United have always been interested in De Jong, right, from the start of the transfer window. So, but De Jong doesn't want to go to United. But Barcelona have to offload De Jong. He is not willing to take a pay cut as well. So Barcelona somehow have to offload De Jong if they are going to buy Bernardo Silva. So the thing is, if these Gerard Romero rumors are true, then that means that De Jong is going somewhere. And I mean, if he would have had to go to Man United, De Jong will look like an absolute clown, dragging this issue on, and now going to Man United. He will not do that. So the only destination, the only place I can see which can afford De Jong has to be PSG. New director, new transfer director, new methodology, which apparently they are saying. So De Jong to PSG looks sensible here, and then that means that what will happen to Marco Verratti? People sometimes have a sense that Marco Verratti is too old. I mean, he started his footballing career when he started his footballing career early on, very early on. So it can come across as that Marco Verratti is a bit old, but Marco Verratti is 28, 29, right? He's almost younger than Thiago as well. So Marco Verratti is interesting for me. So De Jong goes there. That means that Verratti is almost in the prime now, prime of his age. So Verratti would want more playing time. So that means Verratti will look to move. De Jong gone. So Bernardo to Barcelona could happen. So I actually see positivity in this, that Verratti could come to City. Verratti could actually come to City. So that is actually very interesting. But the question again here is, would I want Marco Verratti at City? I mean, I've been reading a bit about this, especially in a fan base. People are telling that Marco Verratti could be a godsend to this Pep Guardiola system. Is Marco Verratti a like for like replacement to Bernardo Silva? That should be the question here. And maybe the answer is not no, but it's not yes either. The answer to that is it's somewhere in between, because Marco Verratti. I mean, the only thing is defensive work for me. Defensive work is something that I'm really worried about regarding Marco Verratti. Could he press with the same intensity as Bernardo Silva? Could he go back and take the ball from the centre backs and do the same work as Bernardo Silva? The answer to that is, for me again, it's a no. See, offensive wise, keeping the ball and stuff, Marco Verratti is absolutely, he's almost as good as Bernardo Silva, if not better. So the defensive side is the interesting thing. The thing about Bernardo Silva is he does both sides of the things well, and it offensive and defensive work, and it's really difficult to bring about and the other player who's adapted both the things. That will be the difficulty which City will be facing, and I really hope that all of these reports are false now, that Bernardo Silva is leaving for 50 million euros, 55 million euros. Who does Barcelona think they are? That they can just come and get any player, they can turn the heads of any player. 5-year deal. I mean, 5-year deal, 52 million euros for the best, not one of the best box to box midfielder in world football right now. 50 million euros with 5 years remaining on the deal. I don't think such a kind of a deal has happened any time in the footballing history in the past. So that is so that I'll be absolutely stunned if Bernardo Silva leaves City this summer. That too for 50 million euros. Okay, he leaves for 80 million euros. That is something else. But 50 million euros, no chance, no chance. I would say. They say that Gerard Moreno is tier one for Barcelona. I don't care. I don't care. He's just another mouthpiece for Barcelona. See, look at the tier ones of our club: Sam Lee, David Ornstein. Look at them. Have they ever been like a mouthpiece for the club? Never. They write insightful articles. They're always respectful of the other clubs and all of this. Who is this Gerard Romero? I don't care. I don't care if he's tier one for Barca. No tier one journalist of our club, David Ornstein or Sam Lee, has actually said about it. Fabrizio Romano yesterday was saying that Bernardo Silva is the obsession of Xavi Hernandez. So that is the only word that has been coming out from the journalists who are close to us. Nothing from Ornstein or Sam Lee about this. Nothing in the English press about this. There are murmurs in the Portugal press. It's Almeida or someone in the Portuguese press who has come out with this. Gerard Moreno is always going on, and Barca press. So it's a story. It's this one thing obvious about this Bernardo Silva thing. It's a story that is spread from that side, from the Barca side. It wants to put pressure on the club. It wants to turn the head of Bernardo Silva, things like that, spreading false news, and that Bernardo is house shopping yesterday and things like that. I don't know. But let us move on. The second thing is Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta is interesting. We have I mean, we already know that Lucas Paqueta is someone we are really interested in. I mean, I think it was a week back that El Quipe has actually reported that City have moved in front of the queue and are willing to pay almost 64 million euros for Lucas Paqueta. We have moved ahead of Spurs. But there's a very interesting thing. Everyone thought that Lucas Paqueta could be Bernardo Silva's replacement. But if you actually look at it closely, Lucas Paqueta could be City's Kevin De Bruyne long-term replacement actually. I was just seeing this, comparing the previous campaigns of both the players. You could see that Lucas Paqueta he loves to have shots on goal, just like De Bruyne. I mean, I know it's in a far more inferior league. I don't even consider the Liga, the League One to mean the top five leagues in Europe, but Lucas Paqueta has created 14 goal scoring opportunities for his team last season, and it's the same created by Kevin De Bruyne. Again, I know I'm not comparing leagues, I'm not comparing uh, things like that, but you know where it is coming from. You know how the comparisons can shape because. I was just thinking, who will replace Kevin De Bruyne in all this? Okay, we haven't got a left back, but who's the replacement for Kevin De Bruyne after 1 year or 2 years? And now Bernardo Silva is leaving. So lot of things, but Lucas Paqueta could. I think maybe he could solve both the things. He could maybe replace Bernardo Silva, and he could also get used to the system, and he could be a long-term replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. That could actually be a very interesting prospect actually. And one of the unique qualities they say about Lucas Paqueta is he picks out a pass and he picks out runners running in behind and running in behind. I still can't forget what Erling Haaland did against West Ham. You know, running in behind with pace, that acceleration. I just can't wait for Saturday. For me, it's like I want City to have a match every day just to watch Erling Haaland do that to the defenses. That's just wonderful, right? Uh, the next thing is, I mean, one of the surprising things on Sunday was Pep's new I mean, the thing was, we lost in the Community Shield, and everyone could see the problems. You know, lack of a left back. Joao Cancelo was always cutting in. You know, Grealish playing in the same space. Everyone was like, well, City have to sign a left back until next week. City are doomed for the season. City can't do anything without a left back. How do you unlock Jack Grealish? And Pep is like, well, you would have to buy a left back in any other situation, but when Pep Guardiola is there, it's you don't need anything. I can set the system right up. We are not going to be held for ransom to buy Cucurella or someone. No left back, still I can set the system right. What he did, he played a 2-5-3 system. He played Cancelo inside and he played Kyle Walker inside. What did that do? That released Kevin De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan forward. It almost gave me a glimpse of, you know, that Centurion season when David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne both were playing in that two attacking midfield roles, two number 10 roles. So that for me, that formation stunned everyone. It stunned David Moyes. Suman says inverted fullbacks works versus Liverpool. It has to work, Sumant, against most of the teams. That's an interesting question because when I was thinking about it, it's an interesting one. But it has to literally work because I mean people are of the perception, right? After the match, I was reading through a few fan comments and they were saying that okay, you are playing inverted fullbacks here against this team West Ham, but can you play it against a Liverpool? Can you play it against a Chelsea? And people were saying apparently saying no, but my answer is yes, you can do that. And this is a more secure system than, you know, playing with the normal fullbacks. The thing is, Liverpool, for example, they like to press centrally, for example. So when you're inverting both the fullbacks inside, counterattacks, you're suddenly preventing counterattacks. There is no alternative. The only other alternative is they have to switch and put crosses into the box, which we can anyways defend. So I think inverted fullbacks works for me. It works better against big teams. It works better against uh, teams on Champions League nights in the knockout games when you're leading and stuff. So I know this could be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but it actually works. And another interesting thing about this is now Pep Guardiola is sitting there and laughing. Chelsea, you got Cucurella for 62, 65 million pounds, whatever. But with me, inverted fullbacks. Why only Cancelo? A Bernardo Silva can play there. A Calvin Phillips can play there because just the name of the position is a fullback. All they have to do in the system is get in as wingers. Sorry, get in as midfielders. You know, when a fullback was not there in 2017, I did it to Fabian Delph. What is the difference between Fabian Delph and Calvin Phillips? I mean, in terms of the positions they play, both are central midfielders, right? Why not now? So Pep has never done two inverted fullbacks right now. So I mean, you just see the beauty of the system. Suddenly you could play a Bernardo Silva there. you as left inverted fullback, and you could play Cancelo as a right inverted fullback. Just imagine how lethal Cancelo could be playing as a right inverted fullback. The through ball over the top for Erling Haaland will always be on. So, and playing Bernardo Silva as a left full back inverted, it could almost be like a box to box role which Bernardo Silva is playing. So suddenly it will be like everyone is playing in their familiar positions, but with a new tactical setup, a tactical setup that suddenly releases Kevin De Bruyne, that suddenly releases an Ilkay Gundogan, but it releases a Joao Cancelo. It even releases a Bernardo Silva. If you play Bernardo Silva in that inverted fullback role, kudos to Pep. I just salute Pep for this. Wonderful, wonderful by uh, wonderful what Pep has done. He has not only removed that doubt of us not having a left back, he has also created a situation where now the opposition. I mean, David Moyes was confused in his press conference. David Moyes was telling, "Well, we prepared one way in the entire week before the match, and what happened was the other." Declan Rice and Soucek suddenly had a Cancelo, Walker, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, five people coming in, and sometimes Phil Ford and Jack Grealish dropping into the midfield. They were surrounded by five, six people. They did not know what to do. JSK says if City sell Silva to Barca and 50 to 55 million euros, then I guess it's high time for City to find another club. You're right, JSK. You're actually bang on here. People think that Tixiki has done a fantastic job till now. Well, he has, but I would give only 40 to 50% of the credit to Tixiki in that. You look at Tixiki's record before Pep came, right? 2015, 2014. Whom did he buy? Wilfried Bony for 45 million euros back then. I don't even want to tell the figure in inflation adjusted now. It will be too much. Wilfried Bony, Eleque Mangala, Fernando, that Brazilian midfielder who was a flop. So a lot of mistakes which Tixiki has actually done. So but since Pep came, it is. I know that Pep would have given inputs that would have helped Tixiki and all. So you're actually right. Maybe Tixiki, I mean, deserves to go if Bernardo Silva is sold for 50 million euros. Guys, it's not even pounds. It's 50 million euros. It really irritates me. How could a club, I don't care, it's Barcelona, it's whoever, how could a club come to us who has we have made a profit of round about 200 million pounds if you count Ferran Torres transfer in this, 200 million pounds, and we are having the best box to box midfielder in the world with 5-year contract. And how could you sell him for cheap loose change? It should not happen. I don't care what Gerard Romero says. For me, it's not happening. Vinay says with this Silva transfer agreed with Barca. That's what that guy is telling. Gerard Romero, the mouthpiece of Barcelona. I don't trust him at all. Gerard Romero, and also, there are all rumors from Barca side. There's nothing from the English press, not even in Sun, and not even in the other outlets which are not regarded as reliable. Nothing at all in the English press. So I'm highly doubtful of this because we know what Gerard Romero is. Vinay says Verratti is injury prone. That's the only thing with Verratti. When I see two things with Verratti, actually, Verratti is injury prone, and also can Verratti offer us the defensive work rate like a Bernardo Silva does? I don't think so. So those are the absolute two problems with Marco Verratti. And 29 years. I mean, you look at what's happening to Thiago. And also, Verratti is coming into a faster league. I don't think he's played in a faster league like the Premier League before. So, look what's happened to Thiago. Thiago is out for 6 weeks now, at least, with hamstring injury. See, buying Verratti right now would almost be like Liverpool buying Thiago, an injury-prone player. So, instead, we invest that amount in another midfielder, according to me. Vinay says Pep demolished Moyes with surprising tactics. Not just Moyes, Vinay. All the other managers will now be scratching their heads. How do you adapt to those tactics? How do you deal with those tactics? See, the thing is, where if Pep Guardiola played a false nine, for example, in the previous seasons, and he did these tactics, it was almost easier for defenses, right? They could maybe camp on the edge of the box, or they could fill up their midfield as well. There were a variety of options they could do, but now suddenly the opposition teams can't push in, they can't squeeze. because you have an Erling Haaland who can run in behind. So so if your opponent is outnumbering you in the midfield, the thing you do is you squeeze so that the opponent doesn't have as much space in the midfield, right? But if once you do that now, Erling Haaland, man, people say that he won't get counter attacks, he won't get space to run in the Premier League. For City's first goal, what happened? Erling Haaland had, all of West Ham's defense were camped at the edge of their box. Still, Erling Haaland found the space to run. The acceleration of this guy is just incredible. So teams do not know actually how to defend against these tactics. Suman says it's okay that we play Bernardo as inverted fullback, but when runners exploit that, it could be a disaster for City. I mean, you're talking about fast, pacey runners, right? So that is actually a problem. That is actually problem. Fast, pacey runners. But then that problem could be addressed in another way, because fast, pacey runners still they would have to cut inside, right? They would have to cut it. See, you saw against West Ham what happened. West Ham had 2 3 counter-attacking chances to exploit it, but what did City do? The moment City lost the ball, 5 second rule of Pep Guardiola was implemented. You retain the ball in 5 seconds. So I think that is what Pep Guardiola is gonna do. So the moment you lose the ball, you're all in on the attacker. So I think a defensive shape with this system is very good. So this system is giving us the flexibility to adapt even though we lose the ball, adapt quickly. So that is the thing. And also attacking through the center of the pitch is almost difficult for the opponent. So now you at least know where the opponent will attack down the wings. So and you can press the opponent keeping that in mind and things like that. When I says half of the city staff is Catalan, but I bet no one in the city staff wants Bernardo to go to Barcelona. The relationship, especially with Barcelona, has deteriorated over the last few years. Actually, we'll actually get into that in the show as well, about that relationship with Barcelona. Vinay says, what I feel is make Matthews Nunes work as Silva. Guy is young and energetic and could be molded by Pep. I know the transfer fee is not an issue again, Vinay, but the thing is, Matthews Nunes has signed a new contract with Sporting. I don't know, that could not be an issue, but we were after him in the summer, but then we dropped off and we bought Calvin Phillips. So, I mean, what sources close to Pep and City have been telling that Matthews Nunes was always seen as a Fernandinho replacement and not as a Bernardo Silva replacement, not as a box to box midfielder. So apparently the race was between Calvin Phillips or Matthews Nunes, and we went for Calvin Phillips. So I think Pep sees Lucas Paqueta as the option to replace Bernardo Silva, because I think even El Quipe and Fabrizio Romano reported a few days back that City are in the front to land Lucas Paqueta. 64 million euros we are ready to pay. So it has to be Lucas Paqueta, I think, because this late in the window, what are your other options? And also, you have let James McAtee go. I won't say that McAtee would be a replacement of Bernardo Silva, but now you have one less midfielder if Bernardo goes as well. So we will get a midfielder, I think, if Bernardo goes. I think we'll have to sacrifice this left back position. JSK says, I guess Barca is playing the media game, same like they did with Haaland, Kunde, and Christensen. And out of those three names you mentioned, JSK, Haaland, Kunde, and Christensen, who is the absolute world beater? Who is the absolute star? Haaland. What decision did he make? That is what the best of the best players do. They make the decision to come to the best place in the world to play football, and that is City. Kunde, Christensen, I mean, my direct question here is, if you are Bernardo Silva, why would you're Bernardo Silva, right? You are seeing what Barca is doing with Frankie de Jong. They're playing poor Frankie de Jong at centre back. They're not giving him wages. He now has to drag them to court, lawsuits, all of these things. So if you're an outsider watching this, what is the guarantee that Barcelona will not do this to you in the future? I would actually feel really bad if this happens to Bernardo Silva 2 3 years down the line. Bernardo is in a situation just like Frankie De Jong. Barca don't want to pay him his wages. They are financially on bankruptcy. Why do you want to go to such an unstable place to play football? I absolutely do not know. Well, Bernardo is saying he wants to be near his family, near his mum and all. That is, that is actually fine. But just see on the other side, footballing careers are very short. Bernardo is what, 27 right now. He has 4 5 more years at the at the very best if he's injury free at the top level. After 4 5 years, you go and stay wherever you want, right? It's just for 4 5 years. How many people get the opportunity to play football at such a high level? Not many. 99.99% are not even able to make this level. And Bernardo is in the best league in the world with the best coach, having the best midfielder, having the best striker in the world, having one of the best defenses, having one of, I mean, everything is the best run club. And why does he want to leave it? 2 3 years, Bernardo. That's all. After that, you can go and live with your family wherever you want. Footballing careers are short. uh, JSK says it helps them to lower their price to their favor. It's just mind games, JSK. It's absolute mind games. That's why I want us to get one over Barcelona and show them who is the boss. JSK says, but I will always respect Tixiki because he made the best possible transfer in Premier League history. None other than our boss Pep Guardiola. Without Tixiki, Pep is way out of our dream. Tixiki and Ferran Soriano as well, JSK. We are very respectful of him. But just to recount what Tixiki has done before Pep and post Pep. But we must not forget the very good things that Tixiki has done. For example, after he has come, this the deal of Haaland, for example, when all of those clubs were there, he swooped in early, a very good deal. So Tixiki has done very good deals. Kevin De Bruyne, so lot of good deals he has done, along with some blunders. But then see, when you have to go for the absolute top, your win rate might not be very high, but but it should be effective, and that is what Tixiki has done. And until Pep has, and after Pep has come, the win rate of Tixiki is, and that is understandable. Mancini, Pellegrini. I always thought that both these managers, they themselves did not have a defined style. If I asked you what is the style City played under Mancini, what is the style City played under Pellegrini, they had a style, I agree, but it's not a well defined style like a Pep Guardiola. So I do think to give credit to Tixiki, Pep Guardiola has a defined style, and it makes it a bit more easier for you as a as a transfer director to make those transfers, because Pep knows what players you want, what attributes you want, something which is not always there in other managers who don't have such a defined style. JSK says, I'm 100% sure Tixiki would never use his Barca connection in business. Remember, he didn't even compromise Ferran Torres when Barca was in their worst economic position, and we just ripped Barca of Ferran Torres, right? 54 million pounds. That was just a wonderful transfer. No JSK, Tixiki, Bagaristan, Ferran Zorian. I don't think even Pep Guardiola, I don't think they will do anything that undermines the business interests of City. See, we have to remember, why did Tixiki Bagaristan come out of Barcelona? Why did Ferran Soriano come out of Barcelona? For example, Ferran Soriano wanted to build a structure in like a City football group, and there were politics in the Barcelona board, and they didn't allow him to do that. So, and City have offered him that. It's the same with Tixiki Bagaristan. Barcelona board didn't offer Tixiki, the freedom he wanted, for example. So we have offered both of them. We have in fact reignited their careers, both of them. So they would be ever grateful to City. I'm sure about that. Vinay says, but Lucas Paqueta won't give defensive work rate. Isn't he a number 10? I like him, but Brazilians are known for technicality and skills or attacking instincts. From whatever I've seen, Lucas Paqueta is also defensively good. He gives the work rate, his interceptions per game, everything are actually really high. See, is a kind of a unique player for me. Just like, I mean, if you have to look at players who come close to Bernardo Silva, people think Frankie De Jong, but I do think Lucas Paqueta is closer than De Jong. See, having that Brazilian flair, having that Brazilian instinct, it actually helps Lucas Paqueta to escape the press. See the difference between Paqueta and Bernardo Silva in terms of escaping the press and the pressure is Bernardo Silva does it calmly, but being a Brazilian Lucas Paqueta, you can see the flair and the skill when he's doing it. That's all. Defensive work rate, we will not know how well will he fit to the system unless he comes. But at least in whatever little clips I've seen of him in YouTube, he seems to be actually a perfect fit for this Pep system. And also his attacking instincts are like you said, he's a Brazilian, and also his attacking instincts are actually very good. He's a bit more attacking than Bernardo Silva. Suman says Bernardo should see what happened with Frankie de Jong, Arthur Melo, Pjanic, Ricky Puig. Exactly, Suman. And another point I want to mention is look at the midfield of Barcelona. Frank Kessie, Frankie de Jong is still there. So Frank Kessie, Frankie de Jong, Gavi, Ricky Puig. Now Bernardo Silva will go. I mean, how will they fit all of these people? There are 6 7 Nico, there are 6 7 players in that in that Barcelona midfield. So actually, do not know how Barcelona will give playing time to all of them. I have absolutely no idea. See, even that is another thing for Bernardo Silva. Vinay says other sources telling Silva thing is nonsense. Exactly, Vinay. I also refuse to believe it because this Gerard Romero is just a mouthpiece for Barcelona and nothing else. And I've also heard people, telling that Gerard Romero he even abuses other clubs on his streams and things like that. He's always disrespectful of the other clubs on his streams, Gerard Romero. So I will only believe this if something comes out from Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein and Sam Lee. For me, it's just David Ornstein and Sam Lee. Because even Fabrizio Romano was played around last season, I think, with the Cristiano Ronaldo thing. So only Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein for me. And right now, if you ask me, it's just a load of nonsense. It's nothing else. JSK says, by the way, have you seen Carlos Borges from the academy? He's the perfect Sterling replacement. I've actually heard about him, JSK, but I haven't seen. I'll look at him actually. And by the way, today in the Premier League too, I think we defeated Liverpool 4-0. So everything in the club is just moving in the right direction. That is absolutely good to see. Vinay says, yes, JSK, man, Borges is real pace and dribbling machine, but doubt is his future with City. And, and also you're looking at the places on offer as well, right? There's another challenge that this new tactical setup of Pep brings to the academy players and stuff. See, we are playing with inverted wingers, right? So I do not know how a direct winger would fit into this system. I'm struggling to find it because when you're playing with inverted wingers, you would generally want a technical players playing those positions who can dribble inside, who can keep the ball, things like that. So it will be interesting to see. And another thing I've actually noticed from the West Ham game was, I don't know if you guys have noticed and what's your view about this, that our fullbacks, they allow the ball to get crossed in easily, and then we always defend from the center. We try to defend from the center. See, the same thing has happened against Real Madrid as well, right? For the second goal, and also in a kind of sense for the first goal, that the cross has come in and then they score. So I'm now starting to think, is it deliberate or are they being coached like that? Because what are the basics? The basics is you stop the ball coming in at the source, but we never seem to do it like that. So are we really confident that we will defend the cross in the middle? This could be useful. This could actually be a point worth noting come the knockout games, because we've seen what happened against Real Madrid. So Vinay says he's lightning quick. Vinay, maybe he might not play on the wing. And how's his finishing, guys? How is the finishing of Carlos Borges? Carlos Borges, I don't know, but he is lightning quick. He'll always be an asset for the academy. Remember, Jesus Navas, one of the best fullbacks playing in Spain right now. What Pep did with him. So, if not win, I'm sure Carlos Borges, Pep will play him at fullback position, right back. Maybe the perfect replacement of Kyle Walker. But another thing that just struck me is Jan Kuto. Jan Kuto would have been perfect for this system, if we would have kept Jan Kuto and not sent him out on loan. Jan Kuto, Walker, and Cancelo with maybe a Wilson Esperanto and someone joining in. We would not have needed to bring in another left back or thing like that. So and that is one thing I'm not feeling great about, that we let Jan Kuto go. JS is, we can say Foden is a generational talent after he made it into the first team of City at just 19. Yes, JSK, they compare the Foden model, but I don't think it's feasible to compare against Foden. I think what is more feasible is to see how Cole Palmer gets into this team, because Foden also got into the team when there was far more competition right on the wings than it is now. Back then, Mahrez was in his prime, so we had other wing options as well. Sterling was there, was Sane there, lot of other options. So when Foden got in, it was way more difficult. But it was again good to see Palmer being given minutes at the end against West Ham. So that shows. I mean, Palmer would be perfect for this system again, playing as an inverted winger on the right. So this system for me is almost, it's classic. It's classic made for Riyad Mahrez and Cole Palmer. So when I says we are poor defending curlers into the box put in, specifically headers. LFC Real Madrid Spurs game showed us that exactly. When it's a problem that I'm a bit worried about, given its recurring nature, like you pointed out. I remember now, even the Spurs goal we conceded that way. Liverpool also, Darwin Nunes, I think Diaz handball was like that, and so it's almost recurring. Teams, see, now teams can't get through our tactical setup, right? What will teams do is try to do this. So somehow I think we need to make sure that we go to them and we stop them crosses coming out from the source as well. But it's good to see that we played almost like a Centurion system. On the stream, we were crying out, I think, right, that we missed the Centurions system when we played back then, when Aguero, Sterling, and Sane was there. I think this is the closest we'll get to seeing the Centurion system again. JSK's finishing is way better than Sterling last year. He single-handedly destroyed United under 18s last season with 5-1. That is good to know. That is good to know, JSK. That his finishing is absolutely good. Because just with pace and all of that, without finishing, we've already suffered with what Sterling has done. So it's good to hear he knows good finishing. JSK says we need Ortega to stop curlers. Edison won't be able to do that. I know, JSK, you're a big Ortega fan and you've been watching for him to start over Edison from the first. But against West Ham, there was that Skamaka header, right? Edison did well. Actually, I've noticed even in the Community Shield, I think Edison did well on a one-on-one. So it's not drastic, but I've actually noticed some improvements in Ederson's game with respect to shot stopping. Could be what is happening with him and Ortega competing in training and things like that. Could be that, but I've seen Ederson improve in the shot stopping a little bit. But Ortega is another level in shot stopping, so I don't think Ederson can be compared to Ortega just as of now. But you're right. Ederson doesn't look that confident. Racing out and catching the ball like in Ortega does, for example. But like we were talking about in the show earlier on as well, that I think Ortega is for the cup games. Well, he didn't start the Community Shield, but I think he'll start the Champions League group game, for example. Vinay says Borges and another winger, Mbude, both are super pacey. I'll check them out when I'll actually check them out, both of them. JSK says, but if we took our chances, defending curlers won't be a big issue. That's another side of the argument, JSK. I agree with that, but in the Champions League, sometimes, it happens that you can't break down the other team, and its matches are decided on those small moments, those pivotal moments. I know you bought Erling Haaland for that, but a game could only be 1-0 sometimes. So then those small things could make the difference. For example, for that Real Madrid second cross, what if we stop the cross from at the source, or if Ederson had collected it, the game was over, right? time would have been done and the game was over. So it's just these little things in the Premier League. They won't affect us. In the Premier League, they will not affect us as much. They might, but it's not as much of a thing. But in the Champions Leagues, when time is a limit, last 5 minutes to go, you're just leading 1-0 or nil-nil. So those are the moments why we sometimes fall short in the knockout competition. So I actually think we need to, because it's repeating again and again as well. So we need to actually uh, look at that. JSK says just hope against Bournemouth. Ortega starts. I don't think that's how it works, JSK, because you don't swap goalkeepers unless it's the competition, another competition maybe, because the defense also needs to feel sure about who is behind them. So it's almost like, the what is the difference between the Community Shield and the first match between De Bruyne and Haaland? Their connection suddenly looked telepathic. Their connection was superb. So it's almost the same thing between the goalkeeper and the center backs and the defense in front of you. The shouts he makes as a defender, if the ball is falling in a certain region, the goalie will be there and stuff. I don't think with Stefan Ortega we already have that connection. If there's a ball over the top, you already know, even if you don't look, that Eddie would have come out and collected it. So I don't think Pep would want to disturb that connection between the centre backs. And also, guys, just imagine what would Ederson do to play in Erling Haaland, for example. That ball over the top from Ederson to Haaland when the opposition team is defending the corner. I mean, that is just wonderful. That is just wonderful. I really want to see that ball. I'm just imagining Ederson playing in Erling Haaland with all his pace, using his passing range and ability. That would be superb. I think we'll see it very soon in one match or the other. Vinay says UCL games are uncontrollable. Can't blame Pep, but players have let down. You're right, Vinay. UCL games are virtually uncontrollable sometimes. I mean, Pep controls everything, but you can't. Marginal offside. Looking at how we went out in all of the knockout games, Raheem Sterling missing an open goal. Pep can't kick the goal, right? Sterling has to do it. Raheem Sterling offside by an inch against that Spurs thing. Aguero missing a penalty in that Spurs knockout game in 2019 against Monaco, for example, Pep's first season. The players just refuse to pass the ball out and do things which Pep asked them to do. I mean, even going past that as well, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid in Pep's first season in charge there, Sorry, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid in Pep's second season in charge there. Thomas Muller misses a penalty in the second leg away goal and Bayern are get knocked out and everyone tell Pep is a flop and all. So if you look at all of the knockout games that Pep has gone out, it's either been missing a penalty, missing an open goal or things like that. There have been rare occasions when we have played extremely well. I mean, Madrid was a rare occasion. That was the occasion when we have played extremely well, deserved to win, and we went out. So apart from Madrid, that's why that Madrid loss hurt more than anything else. Apart from Madrid, I think it's just because of our own players that we got knocked out. JSK says, I guess Haaland will be in the bench against Bournemouth and Alvarez will start. But again, JSK, continuity is important for a goal scorer, especially someone as lethal as Haaland. And also another thing is, there are a couple of, I won't say easy run of fixtures, but winnable, very winnable run of fixtures coming up. Bournemouth, Newcastle, all of that. They can be tough, but they're not against the top team. So what Pep would like to do is he would like that connection to develop even more against Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva with Erling Haaland. So I think Pep will start Erling Haaland just for that connection to make sure. But one thing is Pep might start Julian Alvarez actually on the right wing. I'm sorry, Julian Alvarez on the left wing actually, if we play that inverted system. For me, Jack Grealish might get a rest and Julian Alvarez. For me, against Bournemouth, it's Julian Alvarez who's starting on the left and Riyad Mahrez who's starting on the right. So we might see two new wingers, but Erling Haaland will start for sure. Or Pep might experiment with the 4-4-2 system as well. We do not know, playing both Haaland and Alvarez. Just imagine both are pacey. If Haaland and Alvarez play, the centre backs will be isolated one on one against Haaland and Alvarez, and both are extremely pacey. So I mean, I just pray for the defenders. Vinay says Haaland upfront is what makes a difference in both Premier League and UCL. Like teams will try to concentrate on Haaland, but other players will step in. Haaland's presence is another thing. Vinay, the thing is, the beautiful thing here is, even if you concentrate on Haaland, you can absolutely do anything. You cannot do anything because look at the acceleration of the guy. See, for the second goal for the second goal against West Ham, Haaland, all the three centre backs of West Ham had a run on Haaland. Haaland started behind them, and Johnson was West Ham's right back there. Johnson is very pacey. Johnson has the pace equal to Raheem Sterling, and still Johnson gave up. He didn't even run once Haaland make that run. The acceleration of this guy over 5 yards, over 4 yards, over 10 yards, acceleration is insane. Once he starts to accelerate, even in small spaces, once he starts to accelerate, you can do shit all. Even if you concentrate on Haaland, you can do nothing. So I think, and it seems that Haaland is improving his heading. Just imagine if he improves his heading, he would have got two more against West Ham, 4 goals on debut. So Haaland is just supernatural for me. It's just something else we are seeing, and the goosebumps you get every time Haaland is on his bike, the movement he makes, it's just wonderful. Vinay says, hope Haaland scores many because already is frightening, and also Alvarez should get some start. Exactly, Vinay. For me, Alvarez should start on the left wing, but again, it will be a rotation, I think. I would love to see if it will be the same system against Bournemouth, though, or is Pep this season deciding to play different systems and different tactics against different teams? That would be crazy, Pep, but he would not rule it out against him. JSK says, but I guess after the Madrid defeat, our mentality has increased. It can be seen in yesterday's game. Players look much more confident and fearless. In other case, West Ham away was always a nightmare. West Ham, West Ham defeated Liverpool last season. We dropped points to West Ham, right, in the penultimate match. West Ham, I think West Ham defeated Spurs as well. West Ham made Chelsea drop points. So West Ham has always been a difficult game for all the top teams. I think the attitude, last season when we lost to when we lost to Real Madrid, we were in the middle of a tough title race. And those are the moments that actually tell you how good is the team spirit, how good is the character in the team, because those are the moments that can either break a team or that could make a team do absolute achieve a world, lost against Real Madrid after giving everything. See, if you lose after making mistakes, it's fine because you can get back and recoup, understand what mistakes you made. But generally in football and in life, if you give your everything and then you lose, you feel bad. Whatever people might say, you actually feel really bad, and it's very tough to come out from it. And 2 days after that Madrid defeat, we go and pummel Newcastle 5-0, right? We pummeled Wolves, we pummeled Brighton. We went through that pressure soaked game when we were down to West Ham. We went and won against Aston Villa when everything was lost. So you're right, the mentality has absolutely changed. It was almost the same thing when we were defeated against Spurs, right? And if we lost the next game in 2019, we had a Premier League game which was against Spurs as well. And if we lost that, we would have not had trophies that year. We go and win the game 1-0, and then we go on a run and beat Liverpool to the Premier League title. We are mentality monsters, whatever people might say. Vinay says Pep will play safe with Haaland cause versus West Ham. He could have had a hat trick. He could have had 4 goals actually. But again, you could see Haaland is always, I know the camera won't show it to us every time, but Haaland is always making runs. He's always making those little movements. Run doesn't mean he's always accelerating, but those little movements, and the defender doesn't know where he is. So, another interesting thing about Haaland for me is people said that Haaland will be a flop and all. We all know who those people are from who are fans of other clubs. They said that Haaland will be a flop in the Premier League and all of those things. See, look, let me compare first of all. People said that Haaland is a pace merchant first of all. So if you just rely on pace, I don't think you can make it in the Premier League. But Haaland has two attributes that can be seen in all of the strikers. Just remove pace. Even if you remove pace from Haaland will be as lethal. Ruud van Nistelrooy didn't have half of the pace of Haaland, but he had excellent movement. Little shimmy there, little movement here. Excellent recognition of space. Sergio Aguero, recognition of space. Did you anytime see Aguero go and sprint into space and score goal? No, never, right? He's the all-time top four Premier League player. And now the thing with Haaland is having excellent recognition of space, world-class movement, which Nistelrooy, Aguero, Suarez, Tyrion, Henry, everyone had. And with that, he's having pace that the league has never seen. He's having pace that almost English football has never seen since the last 100, 150 years. So that is what makes Haaland different. That is what makes Haaland almost impossible to defend against. He can accelerate over a space of 5 yards, 50 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards. He can just get a goal by his movement, that's all. Like he did against Bayern Munich in pre-season. So I mean, so many different attributes to Haaland, and I still can't see how people tell that he'll flop. See, for example, Lukaku. Lukaku made a big money move to Chelsea, right? He more transfer fee than Haaland, but Lukaku Lukaku didn't have excellent movement. Lukaku didn't have he had a bit of pace, but not he didn't have excellent movement. He didn't have good recognition of spaces. Nothing Lukaku. So there was more chance of Lukaku being flopped. But Haaland, if Haaland will be a flop, all of those past great strikers like Aguero, Nistelrooy, Suarez also would have been a flop. So I don't see where this argument of Haaland will be a flop will come from. And there were some bold people who were saying that even after the West Ham game, that Haaland will be a flop and all of those things. So that's just rubbish. See, because the technical evidence is there. Just speak on logic, right? Movement, recognition of space. When a forward has these two things, how can he flop? It's almost impossible unless injuries come in. Football trick says our most difficult game is Palace or Spurs, especially Spurs out of nowhere. Spurs become world class when they play us. And also football tricks, we have not scored at their home ground, right? Since 2 3 years. I don't know what is the timeline, but yeah, Palace. But this time for Palace, Pep will see West Ham away was difficult. Pep had a tactical plan against Palace away. I think Pep will have another tactical plan as well because they troubled us a lot. See, what Palace do is they flood their midfield. But right now, I think Pep will actually play a 4-4-2 against Palace, for example, and engage both the centre backs in, and which would mean that they're occupied and there'll be more runners from the midfield. Pep will change his tactics for sure against Crystal Palace. Pep is actually looking at them games, game by game, and then he is. And then he's actually, I think, preparing tactics for all of the teams that have troubled us. Spurs and Crystal Palace will be on will be on the receiving end. I somehow have that gut feeling that we are gonna absolutely tear them apart. Antonio Conte, you will have an Antonio Conte show on the sideline. We are gonna tear them apart that much, both these teams. JSK says only prime Maldini and Beckenbauer can stop Haaland comfortably. I think, yeah, you'll have to go back um, till that time to find players who can actually stop Haaland. Vinicius is curved behind runs are they're just fantastic. You can't defend against those runs. Be it be over 20 yards or be it be over 5 yards. Like West Ham's first and second goal showed us what Haaland can do. They said packed defenses can and pack the defense, park the bus, and Haaland is just out of his depth. Haaland showed what he can do. And also that clash with Fabianski, right, when he went for the ball. Now that really gives another headache to players. They'll now as a defender or even as a goalkeeper, you would not want to jump for the ball when Haaland is attacking because you know that you have a good chance that physically you would be gone. You might be injured or things like that. So Haaland is literally living rent free in the head of all of the defenders. So it's going to be very exciting. Vinay says his curved shots are love. One shot, one kill. So chances choking and frustration will be less. When he made that run, you knew, all the City fans knew that Haaland would score. Haaland would absolutely score. One thing on it actually, that Haaland's second goal against West Ham. I was just thinking that last season, if it was last season, which attacker would have scored that goal? Maybe a Foden? or maybe a Mahrez. But even then, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, that goal was made by Erling Haaland himself. Okay, De Bruyne plays the through ball, but were any of the attackers last season capable of even running through at that rapid pace? They say Sterling has pace, but Johnson in that West Ham defense is almost the same pace as Sterling. Is a rapid fullback. So I think the acceleration of Haaland is brilliant. So none of the attackers for me would have made the goal, would have finished the goal last season. So this is another wonderful thing. GSK says, I want Gavi at City. If you pay him around 200,000 per week, he will tear up the Barca renewal contract paper and jump to Etihad. Pep wanted Gavi, right? Pep wanted Gavi. I think it was 4 5 months back, or even last season. I don't know, but there was a lot of interest on from City side on Gavi, and then he signed that contract. So Gavi would not be a bad option at all to replace Bernardo. People are telling swap deal Frankie De Jong Bernardo. No, I would shit hate that. Instead of that, sell Bernardo for less money. But I would not want Frankie De Jong anywhere near this club again. The harmony of the club, we do not know how we will adjust. It will have to break the wage structure. A lot of things. So either sell Bernardo and get someone like Gavi, for example, like you're saying, or I would not want anyone actually. Football pictures, if Liverpool are going for Barella, Bellingham is not going there. There is a higher chance now City will get Bellingham if Barella goes to Liverpool. But football pictures, you look at the problem that is actually happening at Liverpool. The midfield is Thiago is sidelined for 6 weeks, injury prone, is getting old. Henderson is 31, he'll be 32 next season. So Henderson is also injury prone. Suddenly, Liverpool don't have a midfield over there. They've got Fabio Carvalho, who is 18, 19 years, so he'll take time. So the midfield of Liverpool is they haven't replaced Gini Wijnaldum. So literally Liverpool are having at least James Milner will have to be replaced at some time. It's 34, 35 right now, I think. So literally Liverpool are having three midfield spots at least which are empty, which need to be filled in the next 2 3 years. Especially the Wijnaldum one and the Thiago one, for example. So I think there is actually I know this is not good news, but there is actually space for both Bellingham and Barella. But I would love Barella at City actually. I would really love Barella. Vinay says Rory is a deluded kid. Exactly, Vinay. I'm talking about Rory. I mean, telling that Haaland will be a flop before the match, I can understand that. Okay, the kid really needs to see what Haaland is. But after the match, after you see both those goals, after you see world class movement, space, everything, recognition of space, everything, you still say that Haaland will be a flop. I don't know whether he's doing it just for clicks, so that people would watch his content so much or things like that. I don't know, but that just comes across as the most nonsensical thing I've heard this season. And also Rory was going all on about Raheem Sterling. I don't know where all this is coming from. Vinay says this time is different because teams will focus on how to stop Haaland. That's another advantage. And they can't stop Haaland how much ever they focus on. And Kevin De Bruyne is already having his goal scoring boots, right? An offside goal, but it was still De Bruyne was there to finish it. And Haaland is linking up well as well. Jack Grealish suddenly looks released. You suddenly have Ilkay Gundogan who's running into them spaces. I mean, I'm just imagining what if Erling Haaland was there when we had David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Prime Fernandinho back there, and then Haaland, Sane, and maybe another good winger. How would people have defended against both Haaland and Sane with David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne supplying them? That's just insane. That is just something else. I don't think you can defend against both Sane and Haaland once. Vinay says defenders will get bullied. Defenders will they'll get bullied, they'll get beaten with pace, they'll it's almost like against West Ham it was almost like you felt so bad for West Ham that you wanted to give another ball to West Ham and then tell them you play with this. At some point we had completed 500 passes and West Ham had barely completed 110 passes. So and they were all passing in the final third of West Ham. So so you really felt bad for West Ham. It was not even a team that came up for a relegation team. This is West Ham who will be fighting for fourth, fifth, sixth in the top five, top six. So people underestimate thinking just West Ham, but David Moyes, is tactically very astute. I think Pep has struggled against David Moyes tactically in the past as well, right? Carabao Cup game last season, penalties, West Ham knocked us out, and we struggled to break down the West Ham team. Even before that, 2-2 penalty made game. We won, I think, 2-1 or something close game. We have always struggled against West Ham, so excellent tactics from Pep. Football Critic says if this was Sterling for this and in between runs, he would surely miss it. I can't imagine. See, for the first time when Haaland ran through for the second goal, for the first time, I felt a sense of calm. I felt goosebumps. I was like, he will score. He will definitely score. I felt happier as Haaland was running through. But with Sterling, even he is running through, you always felt that with Sterling running through, you felt Sterling has no chance. He will either give the ball off to the goalkeeper or kick it against the goalkeeper or fall down shouting for a false penalty or he'll look to pass it to someone. With Jesus, it was 50-50 or even 60-40 in favor of the goalkeeper. But with Haaland, as he ran through, you were like, this is gonna go. This is gonna go in. No one is gonna stop it. One shot, one goal. One chance, one goal. Haaland is here. So literally that sense of emotion as fans as well that you have when Haaland is running through is something else. Football glitches. If you notice, Pep was giving Palmer KDB role. That's yes, football pitch, but that was very interesting because I always thought Palmer would be a replacement for Riyad Mahrez because even in the academy they call him the next Riyad Mahrez. Things like that. Even if you look at the clips which City upload, Palmer the next Riyad Mahrez, things like that. But maybe Pep sees something in him, like Pep saw something in Zinchenko and Bernardo Silva, who was a winger turned him to a midfielder. So Pep sees something in him. That is good news. Then we do not need to search for a De Bruyne replacement. Then, so that is interesting. JSK says last year I remember some of us are wanting Vlahovic and even Nunes over Haaland because JSK last year people thought that maybe Haaland will go to a Madrid or things like that. Bayern was also in for him at one point of time. So it was unbelievable for many that we got him. Again, Tixiki, Pep, and all of the transfer team will have to be applauded for this. When you have competition of Madrid and all such might, you've gone there and done the deal absolutely fast. But yeah, Vlahovic, Nunes. See, Nunes was someone that we have, I think we've scouted since 2-3 years. I think it was 2 years back or 2.5 years back, 3 years back that we were linked with Nunes that he is a striker. See, our scouting is also so good. That shows how good our scouting is. 3 years back, I think the first link came that there's an all-round striker who's playing in Portugal. He has an all-rounded game. Pep Guardiola likes him. He could be a replacement for Aguero and all. But that interest slowly died down. But I would actually have to say that Haaland is miles above Nunes and Blahovic. Both are great players, but at Haaland you've got something that is beyond greatness, and you can't attribute it to any single player. Beyond greatness, you only see it in generational talents like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo. So there are only a few players, Zidane, for example, who could be attributed to it. So I mean, it's great that we actually got Haaland. So to finish off another piece of news that especially about Barca here, I know all of us are really angry about Barca here, but I'm actually stunned that that UEFA are not being investigated. That Barca are not being investigated by UEFA actually, because I know that financial fair play is all about the profits and stuff like that, about meaning that you spend your things fairly and stuff. But when a club is not able to produce money and they're still signing players. I don't know how the UEFA can't investigate Barca. See, Barca have also inflated a sponsorship deal actually out in the open with no backlash. apart from the Spanish league. So I find all of these interesting. And another point which we have to note is that Barca are the ones who were at the forefront, forcing us. Barca and the La Liga president, they were on the forefront, forcing us to investigate, forcing UEFA to investigate us about in that financial fair play and everything. So I don't know why UEFA have this two-sided nature. For example, that they behave with elite clubs in one way and then they behave with other clubs in one way. But good that we have gotten one over UEFA, so now they can't do anything to us. But I'm again stunned that UEFA is doing nothing to Barca. Anyway, guys, I really enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for all of the comments. It's been wonderful. We really hope that Bernardo Silva doesn't leave City actually. So that is the only hope. Hope that all these comments from Gerard Romero and everything is actually false. So please click on the like button if you've enjoyed the show, and also please click on the bell icon and the subscribe button so that you get notifications whenever we upload new videos. Thank you so much, guys, again, and take